Welcome in everyone to That's a Tap with DJ, CT, recapping combat sports and all of that. Great to see you, my man. How you doing?
Good to see you, brother. UFC 313. It's go time. Two more sleeps for us. And yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to break it down, give our predictions. A lot of interesting news that have surfaced since we last spoke. The boxing event, the boxing news with Dana White stepping into boxing. Some fight announcements. You know, Alex Volkanovski fighting for the championship. So much happening. Combat sports is buzzing. Uh, UFC especially. Yeah, man, a lot to talk about. But I believe today is UFC 313.
Can't wait to talk about it. The main event, obviously, you see the banner, and we just got to, highlight that the co-main, Justin Gaethje, it was originally with Dan Hooker. However, Rafael Fiziev has
Yeah,
stepped in due to the Hooker hand injury.
yeah,
That was a blow, but still a nice card, obviously, with the
yeah.
face of the UFC.
Absolutely, man. We had to keep that banner in because just to remind us of what this card could have been. But again, though, pretty great replacement given the circumstances. I mean, um, man, someone who's out of everyone, I would have preferred it to be Fiziev. Now that I think about it even more, because he's already done a fight camp for Justin Gaethje, and let's be honest, Justin Gaethje and Fiziev, their styles haven't changed much. It's not like it's a brand new matchup, so it's going to be somewhat evenly matched. It just depends on how much prep and how much into sort of like uh, competition mentality and prep Fiziev was in. But man, I'm expecting a game fight. They're both going to come in, to do what they do best. Their first fight was just nuts. It was just violence. Pretty crazy fight. First round was Fiziev's, and then Gaethje comes back strong and just puts a stamp on it. Then in the last round, so let's see how it goes this time around. They both know each other, and like I said, man, their styles they're very consistent with their style. We know what they're going to bring to the table. It's going to be a striking fiesta. So I mean, I'm all for it. Let's go. Is it Gaethje Uka? No. Am I a little bit disappointed, just a tiny bit? But man, I'm excited for the replacement though.
Gaethje is still a highlight reel waiting to happen, and obviously we'll go through our predictions as well. But
Yeah,
let's start with the main event, like Ankalaev. Um,
yeah.
it's been talked about for a minute. Obviously, it didn't happen last time, but how excited are you to actually get this matchup now?
Yeah, man, it's a tough matchup for Alex Pereira and for us Alex Pereira fans. Obviously, it's a very nervous time around. But having said that, okay, well, what we'll do is I'll try and give my take on this fight without revealing my prediction until we actually do it. But for me, it's an evenly matched fight. To be honest, if anything, based on their past performances, and it is purely from the fact that we haven't really seen Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira has been taken down by Adesanya. He's been taken down by Jan Blachowicz, and he got taken down by Yuri Prohashka as well. Yes, he has devastating KO power. And then on the other side, we got Magomed Ankalaev. If you look at him, he's got the the ability to strike. He's a quick boxer. He's got more TKO wins and subs. And but then at the same time, we know he's from Dagestan. He's from the region of the wrestlers, and we know how these guys perform. Man, they're relentless. They have cardio for days, and then they come in and they could wrestle. They can strike. Uh, and I feel like Magomed Ankalaev's sort of like a heavier version of Islam Makhachev. Probably not to that level yet, but he is good. So it is an extremely tough match. It's not like there is a clear disparity in striking. It's not like this traditional striker versus grappler fight either. It's more look, yes, Alex is really good at what he does, but then again, Magomed Ankalaev can hold his own when standing up as well. Like he's a kickboxer, he's got some devastating kicks. Go look at some of his KOs, man. They're devastating, and he's got power. He's shown that. And this is a real light heavyweight, not someone stepping up. So there is that that element of, what happens if Ankalaev's able to land on Pereira. And we've seen him, getting knocked out by Israel Adesanya, who's, a 185 pounder. Now there is an argument that can be made that he did cut a lot of weight to make middleweight, so that compromised sort of his ability to recover. And whereas that is not the case anymore, so we have to wait and see. I mean, he did face a little bit of adversity in the Jan Blachowicz fight. We saw that. He still won that fight, and even in that first Yuri Prohashka fight, there was some strikes that landed flush, so he was able to get through those. So I'm excited for it, mate. It's a pretty tight matchup. If anything, on paper, just matching them side by side and just going by their performances, like Ankalaev sort of slightly holds the edge because of his well-roundedness. Now, Alex has been adamant that he's been working on his wrestling, so we don't know how much his wrestling's come since that last time we saw. I mean, look, since that first Yuri Prohashka fight, we haven't seen him get taken down. But having said that, he's fought Jamal Hill since then Yuri Prohashka the second time, and then Khalil Roundtree. None of them wanted to wrestle; they just wanted to strike. They're strikers. So, yeah, very intriguing, interesting matchup. So I'm excited, man. What about you?
It's a case of I still feel like Alex is a draw no matter who he fights,
Yeah.
But obviously this particular matchup is different, to the case of, remember last time he was facing Roundtree and
Mm.
it was basically, trading blows and you knew how it was kind of going to go. This is
Yeah.
a bit more element of intrigue
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me,
Absolutely, man.
more
Hey,
well-rounded.
hey, I got a question. So leading up to this fight, Ankalaev said he's going to strike with him. He's not going to take him down. What do you think? Do you think he'll stick to that? Do you think he's going to just strike with him?
Of a smoke screen, um, just to maybe keep him guessing. But you can't get into a trading war with Alex, in my opinion. What do you think?
100%, man. But I think, look, I also look. He said the same thing last time with Rakic, and he did stick to his word. And he has a supreme confidence in his striking, and rightfully so, man. Like he's fought some dangerous strikers himself. You got Johnny Walker, who he recently fought, and his only loss is to um, Paul Craig, which is interesting now that you think about it. That was in his debut, and he got submitted. And since then, he's had a terrific run, and he had that um, um, fight with Jan Blachowicz, which was a draw, but many feel that he won that fight. But then there's also the Rakic fight, where he won comprehensively as well without going for any takedown. So a part of me feels like he will do it, and I think he's able to do it, and I'll give him that respect. But then again, though, Alex Pereira is a dangerous entity to be standing and striking with, man, because that's his bread and butter. It's not impossible. I mean, hey, Khalil Roundtree dropped him. Let's not forget that. Like he did in his last fight. So there's a lot of that to be analyzed as well. And then let's also not forget the leg kicks that were a big factor in the Jan Blachowicz Ankalaev fight, where Ankalaev was finding it a bit difficult to deal with some of Blachowicz's leg kicks. And then we know Alex Pereira, man, his kicks are accurate and sharp. So let's see, it's interesting, and yeah, it's an interesting matchup. Obviously, like yourself, I am a fan of Alex Pereira. So, but I just want to put that emotion aside when I'm looking at how this fight could play out. Um, but hey,
Yeah,
core main event, you got
yep.
Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be season two of the first fight, or is it going to be a completely different fight? What do you think?
Yeah, as we give our predictions again at the end, I do
Yeah,
think this one is going to be uh, action-packed, obviously. How could it
yeah,
not be? Um,
yeah,
you don't really know which way it could lean towards. Gaethje's not going to take a back step. He's not got
mm,
that many left in him, as you
yeah,
know. This
yeah,
was supposed to be the banger with Jan Hooker, and
yeah,
definitely would have been a finish with those two. uh,
yeah,
but yeah, it's not as glitzy as as that matchup. But Fiziev, is a really solid opponent, and I think he could give him some issues as well. Um,
Yeah.
so I do kind of feel like, are these guys gonna try to see it out, or are they just gonna be try to be the last one standing and end it straight away? Um, how do you feel it's gonna go?
Ben, spot on. I look at it and I think, you know, usually when we see these short notice fights, the one who's coming into the fight, who's not been in training camp, one would say, I got a smart person would say the best way to to get a victory is trying to finish the fight quickly because you haven't been conditioned, you haven't been through a training camp. Having said that, some fighters they do train all year around. They keep themselves in fighting shape all year around, and I feel like Fiziev is one of them. To be able to say yes, I'll make 155 in 2 weeks, that kind of tells me, look, this guy stays in fight shape. On the other side, you got Justin Gaethje who's coming off of a devastating knockout. Let's not forget, according to the bookmakers, Fiziev's the favorite, which I'm a bit surprised to be honest. But yeah, Gaethje is coming in from a devastating KO loss. It wasn't a fight where he was winning and he got knocked out. It was more where Max Holloway was winning that fight, and then eventually there was that knockout that sort of we know how that fight went. One fight of the year last year. Um, so he's coming with a point to prove. He's said numerous times he's not got many fights left in him, and he wants to try and get to that title as soon as possible. And he said it in his own words: "If I'm able to do something devastating here, I feel like I could just jump everyone and go to the title, right? Or could be that next person for the title." Dana White said, "Look, Arman's got to, make his way back up." Oliveira's obviously in the sideline as well. We don't know what's happening with Ilya Topuria, so given there is so much uncertainty in that division, um, I feel like like Justin Gaethje makes a fair point. If he's able to, have a groundbreaking knockout, that's just gonna, elevate him to the top of that ladder to fight Islam purely because he hasn't fought Gaethje yet. Islam's fought Oliveira, he's fought Arman before, he's fought Poirier before, so Gaethje becomes that fresh contender. Obviously, we had that tweet come out today from Ilya Topuria as well, very kind of like a very secretive tweet. It just says, "Look, wait till you find out what we've got cooking." So I'm keen for that too. So it could be that title shot. Even then, Gaethje probably just has to wait maybe a few more months before he gets his shot. If he does get the win. So what that means is I feel they both are going to come forward, trying to end the fight soon, the other trying to put a stamp on it, and I feel like that there is a recipe for a fantastic fight. I mean, it's got fight of the night written all over it. But yeah, I don't see it going the distance either way the fight goes. But yeah, man, pretty exciting main event. Obviously, maybe a slight step down from what was advertised, which is Gaethje versus Hooker. And then still getting a banger of a replacement, so can't complain.
Yeah, exactly. We can't control these things, but
Yeah,
yeah, we really wish that we did get Hooker. But we'll get to see him in a marquee matchup really soon. Hopefully, when the hand heals up. But yeah,
yeah,
Gaethje, I think, is definitely going to draw a lot of eyes, and his fighting style as well is going to bring a lot of fireworks to this card. As we going to break it down and review it after
yeah,
it's finished. But yeah, we move along to the third one.
yeah,
We've got Jalen Turner, who's building momentum, consistency. Ignacio, how do you
yeah.
see this one?
Man, again, fantastic strikers, extremely technical strikers. Ignacio Balmondes and Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner, I believe, is coming off of a loss. Let me check. Yes, he is. I believe he lost a very close fight to Renato Moicano, if I'm not mistaken. And then we've got Ignacio Bamondes, who's known for his flashy knockout. So this is sort of, again, they're going to give. There's a few fights in that main card that's going to give. They're going to be strong contenders for fight of the night. So Jalen Turner spoken in length about how obviously he wasn't happy with how things panned out the last time around, and he wants to get back into that win column. Again, like I said, Ignacio Bamondes is someone who's not going to take a back step. We're going to again get another striking fiesta. If you look at the whole card sort of, you can see a pattern. There is a lot of you see a lot of stand up fighting from in that main card, especially from top to bottom. So yeah, same story, man. Like a pretty good addition to the main card. And I'm yeah, looking forward to it. Like, and I think it's the whole purpose of this fight being put in there is sort of to set the tone for what is to come with the co-main and the main event, I think. So yeah, 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 man, yeah, yep. Is it Last min Lucindo? Is it? Yeah. Man, look, absolutely, and I'll look at it. To be honest, I must admit, like wasn't aware of Lucindo's accolades, and now looking at it, man, like last two wins of Marina Rodriguez and Carolina Kovalevich. So two people, one fought for the title, and then the other was about to fight for the title. Then obviously got a few losses. So to have two wins over them, that's pretty impressive. Um, and yeah, man, like, and then now she's fighting Amanda Lemos. I still think it's a huge step up because Lemos has fought for the belt. And again, if she's able to get a win over Lemos, which I think is a tall task, if she's able to do that, I think she's going to insert herself into that contender spot. So again, um, it will be interesting to see how this fight plays out. Sort of similar storyline though in terms of the styles of the fight. As I said in the main event, sort of the main card. So it's sort of a similar stylistic matchup compared to all the other fights. But yeah, good addition to the main card. And then, yeah, King Green. Yes, perfectly balanced. Yeah, perfectly balanced. Yeah, man, King Green. Oh, hey, we all know this. If you've been following the UFC long enough, you know that when King Green fights, it's just always, exciting. It's always box office. Whether win or lose, man, there's always excitement. And I was a bit surprised they didn't involve him in the press conference because he always sort of makes it a little bit entertaining. And then he's fighting, man, another extremely exciting fighter in Mauricio Ruffi. He's quite new to the scene. He's from that very talented Fighting Nerds gym. And man, this guy's striking is off the charts. And the three times that I've seen him fight, I'm super excited. He's got my attention, and whenever I see his name pop up, I'd love to tune in. I'm glad that they're opening the main card. Actually, and I mean, out of the three fights that we're looking at here for fight of the night, just Gaethje, Fiziev, Turner, Barmondas, and King Green and Rufy. I'm actually going with Green and Rufy for the fight of the night. I feel it's going to be fireworks. I don't think either guy's going to take a step back. Um, but man, what a way to open the card. I mean, I hope like all these like promise a lot on paper. I just don't. I hope they don't become duds when the fight actually happens. Yeah, Vegas, man.
Him is, of course, Curtis Razor Blades. So
Razor Blades
that
got done dirty.
a quick KO could get the crowd really hyped up for that King Green main card
Yeah.
opener.
Yeah, man, I know it's surprising his matchup as well. He's someone who performed really well in the Dana White's Contender Series, Rizwan. But then I'm surprised they gave him. I thought they'll build him up. They're giving him Curtis Blade straight away, which you say, which is tough task. And look, and that means that's how much faith they have in this guy and this sort of rating very high. So yeah, there is that fight that's happening as the early prelims. There's good Alex Morono's in there. Um, any early prelims? There's a few early prelim fights as well. Yeah, man, it's like a yeah. There's a few fights in there, but I think obviously the main card stands out the most compared to the rest of the card. I feel. Yeah,
We get to our predictions, and then I want to get your. We'll give a score in terms of how we feel the card is in terms of potential. Yeah, and then we
Potential,
give it a
yeah, yeah.
score, and based on did it live up to that
Did you deliver? That's on our
potential?
recap. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, before we go to the prediction, let me ask you this: what's the fight that you're most excited for in this card, outside of the main event and the
yeah,
co-main? Outside of the main and the co-main, what's the fight that you're most interested?
yeah. Great question. I would say still the Gaethje, because
No,
although it's not
outside of the co-main.
or outside of the co-main as
Yeah,
well.
outside main and
Okay,
co-main. Yeah,
main and co-main. I'll say the King
yeah,
Green fight
yeah.
because
Man,
yeah, he
same.
always
I'm with you. I'm
yeah.
with you, man. Yeah, I'm excited for that fight. Let's see if our predictions are aligned.
All right, yeah. Let's go back and forth.
Yeah,
So
yep. Or do you want me to just give my? I mean, it's all there. I'll just give my predictions and then. Yeah, well, as you can see down there, I've got Alex Pereira for the win. It's tough to say. I mean, look, with Alex Pereira, if you're gonna pick Alex, it's always going to be a finish. I just very less likely that it goes to the decision, although it can. He's shown that in the past that he's able to go the distance as well. But I'm picking him with the finish. The only reason is, like I said, it's a very evenly matched up fight. Even on paper, I would even say Ankalaev slightly more skilled in terms of his well roundedness. However, I'm picking Pereira. I don't know. Maybe the emotions got the better of me, but also, I just feel like he's got this momentum with him, man. Like he's got this confidence, and I feel like it's gonna help him. It's gonna help him to sort of go out there and perform. And he's had some time off as opposed to not a lot though. Like he's been fighting quite frequently, but he's had 4 to 5 months. It does concern me though. I will say that, and I think a lot of other fighters have voiced their concern too. How serious was he in his prep work? Because we did see him travel a lot. He was here for a month in Australia, so it does concern. Given this is his biggest fight, like did will that impact him? Did it impact his preparation? He says no, so obviously we believe that, and then obviously the performance will say it. And I got Gaethje taking out the co-man. I just think, look, he's been locked in for this training camp, and he's been talking heavily about wanting to sort of. He's got two more. He's going to give it his all, and I feel like he wants to get another crack at the title. And I think it's a perfect matchup. You stayed on in the card, smart move, and I think, I feel like he'll be able to get the win. Yeah, and we'll see him sort of making a claim for that title. I've also got Jalen Turner. Just gonna again similar reason, and coming from a loss, and if you look at some of the losses he's had, it's just one was a lapse in judgment where he thought he finished the fight against Moicano, and then the next round he comes and submits him, and then with Dan Hooker it was such a close fight, so he probably wants to put some distance away from those kind of situations, and put a stamp on his win. Barmondes is a game opponent, but I also feel like that's tailor made for Jalen Turner. I think Jalen Turner's a little bit more crisper, sharper, and I think he's going to find that shot. I think he's going to get the finish. I got Lemos. I went Lemos purely based on because I did when I found out about this fight. As I said, I didn't know much about Lucindo, but I then thought, you know what, let me go watch some of the fights, which I did, and I just think like Lemos's experience and the ability to sort of dictate where the fight goes, I think it will play a factor. So I'm just going to go with Lemos. And man, for the final one, I'm going with Rufi. He's been on a roll. Like I said, probably has some of the best hands I've ever seen. Striking wise, extremely sharp, crisp, very, very technical. You can see the guy's skills. He uses skill. And man, I just think King Green is extremely exciting. He's great. He's a brawler, right? He's going to come forward. I just feel like, again, that's sort of tailor made for Rufi's style. He's going to try and catch him. He's going to use his sort of distance management, be very technical, and catch him. I feel so. I'm predicting a finish for that too. So that's my predictions. What about yours, CD?
nice. I like them. Yeah, definitely it's a case of I want these to be closer.
Yeah,
Obviously, I like them to go a little bit longer, and not just get all the fights over early.
yeah,
But I will say, it has potential for it to go pretty quick with the
yeah. It
way
does, man. As
things are
long as it's
set
not
up.
because of eye pokes, that's it.
good call. Yeah, we basically are close to unanimous
Oh,
outside
look
of
at that! Would you look at
the
that?
opener.
Would you look at that?
And I'm going to go for the King Green. You mentioned experience with Lamos.
Mhm.
I think King Green finally, gets some momentum. It's been a bit stop start, but obviously with 32 wins on his record, I think he is the senior of the two, and I think
Yeah,
he gets a lucky hit, ends it,
yeah,
stoppage, comes
uh-huh,
forward. I think King
uh-huh,
Green doesn't take a step back.
yeah,
Uh, Agree with you with Lamos, and obviously Jalen Turner, who I got to
yeah.
see in person. Um, and then how
Yes,
could I go against Gaethje, and how could I go against Alex Pereira?
100%, 100%. Man, love
So
it, love it. So we're almost aligned, almost. Just the last one.
yeah, how do you feel now in terms of a score based on the potential of the card?
Um, man, listen. Is it one of the most stacked cards? Probably not. Um, when it first got announced with the Hooker fight, Hooker still intact with the card. I actually rated it better than the Sydney card, to be honest. Even now, I would say on par. Even after the drop off, I would still say it was on par. It is on par with the Sydney card. Um, I'm expecting. I mean, look, Alex Perry, it's like talking about like when if McGregor's fighting or Habib's fighting, it's just sort of some of those superstars when they're there, like the card sort of revolves around them. Like there's so much excitement for that particular fight that everything is just a lead up. No matter what fight you put, it could be some of the best fighters in there or some of the up and comers. It doesn't really matter. Everything seems like just a lead up to this fight, and that's what I feel with this card as well because Alex Pereira has achieved that level of stardom and as rightfully said by Dana White as well. So, but so I feel like we were actually kind enough that I feel like the UFC was kind enough to give us Gaethje, originally Gaethje and Uka in the same card until Gaethje to stay on the card. So all that taken into consideration, I think in terms of how the card will deliver, I'm gonna go with the 8 out of 10 for potential
I like
performance of
that.
the card. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna say 7,
Oh
um,
yeah,
where because I'm leaving it for a gap for it to exceed that. You know,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
7 I'd be satisfied because I do think DJ the first two, look, sorry, Gaethje and Pereira are two of the biggest names in the sport. So they could headline any card and it could still be a really good card, but it does drop off a bit after them. However, if we
yeah,
do get a banger between Jalen Turner
yeah.
and that one, and then Lamos and the King Green, and then
Yeah.
Razor Blades, I think it could edge towards an 8. But if it goes towards how I think it'll be a 7. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's still a lot to be excited about because, like I said, yeah,
Yeah.
Gaethje and Alex on the same card. I mean, it's a must tune in.
Absolutely, man. There's like two savages in one card, so you can't you can't look past that. I'm all for it. I've kept Sunday free. The pay per view will be in full flow. Yeah, can't wait to catch the action. Whether it would be heartbreak for us Pereira fans or not, I think what I want is like a good fight, like a fair fight. May the best man win, man. To be honest, at the end of the day, they're all like a lot of respect to all these fighters. They put a lot on the line, and they're putting a lot of preparation, time, money. So yeah, may the best man win.
But we'll have another episode coming out soon, reacting to the big update TKO
Yes,
entering the boxing arena with Turkey Al Sheikh. A lot to unpack with that one, and there will be our reaction to this pay per
absolutely,
view
man.
breakdown as well. DJ,
Epic.
look forward
Yeah,
to talking about it.
it's peace.